Out of regional cooperation and lack thereof when it comes to the future of the Detroit Water Department. The city, as part of the bankruptcy plan, wanted to regionalize the system in exchange for buy-in from the suburbs. It's something the county executives from Wayne, Oakland, and Macomb are not agreeing on.
I want you to, I guess, first off, make your case of why Oakland County does not want to dive into this agreement.
Well, first of all, we don't have all the details. We don't have all the research. We've been asking for over 9 months, give us more financials so we can just figure out what we're getting into. I can only talk about one half. One half of this whole water debate is now under a gag order by the court. The top half is wide open for comment, and that deals with the attempt to have the suburbs accelerate their payments for their water bills and make the pension payments for the Detroit Water and Sewer Board pensioners. And so right now the bill would be normally around 18 million. Next year it's going to go from 18 million to 65 million. Now, right, you know I am choking on that number, and I think why the rest of these guys might be choking, I can't speak for them. And then the year after that it goes to 45 for 9 years. And if you add up the first year plus the last 9 years, it comes up to $450 million, which is what they're short in funding the grand bargain. So somebody came up with this great idea of, hey, we can raise the $450 we need to make all the numbers work. Let's just shove it onto the suburbs.
But wouldn't it be a good deal, and Bob, let me ask you, that finally Wayne County, Macomb, and Oakland can buy into this system and have partial ownership and control of this system as well?
There is, and you know, this because of the bankruptcy, you're up against some deadlines that normally you probably wouldn't be up against. I think Judge Rhodes is going to make decisions in this, and they call it technically a cram down that could eventually say this is the way the system's going to run. I think that the legislature, and I know the governor, have looked at this, and I think, to me personally, the authority is the way that's probably going to be the best, because if you have a private entity that's going to run this, you're going to have someone that's going to accelerate those costs one way or another. Their first obligation as the shareholders is what it should be, but they're going to accelerate it, and since they have a monopoly, any of those costs are going to be immediately be able to pass it on to the ratepayers. Brooks is right, and I know Mark agrees, is that everybody wants more information about what is actually the costs of some of these situations. And I don't know, there's mediation that's going on, and Wayne County filed the mediation order, so we're wanting this process to work. I don't think that Judge Rhodes, with such a large asset, is just going to leave it out there and say, after the bankruptcy, we'll deal with this later on. Plus, there probably is room for negotiations now because they've been able to put together more funding sources in terms of, from what I understand, of the grand bargain, and you may not have to need the exact amount that Mr. Orr is asking for in the bankruptcy.
I think that a lot of concern about this, Mark, also is timing, and the fact that there is not a lot of time to make this deal, and when you are entering into this kind of deal, that you want to make sure you do your due diligence and get all the information possible, and that something like this could take years to negotiate with the expansive, the largesse of the system.
You're absolutely right. Again, we want to be regional, but we want to be responsible. And let's face it, this isn't about the regionalizing of the water system. If that really were the issue, we would have worked on this long ago, and we would be taking our time to do our due diligence and do it right. This is a rush because of bankruptcy. There's no question about it. Our concern, and as we've been talking with Oakland County about this, is for the ratepayer. So we want somebody that's going to come in and really take a look at this. The numbers that are flying all over the place and the conversations that have been out there, boy, I tell you what, they're all over the board. But I have not had anybody really look at this and put at the forefront the ratepayers and how the rate structure is going to look, as well as the infrastructure issues. I don't disagree that this would be a good thing for the region to have it regionalized, but how it's being pushed our way and how it's going to be crammed down our throats has been a real problem for me, because really we haven't been able to be responsible as elected officials to look at these numbers, to give a good assessment, to tell our ratepayers, here, this is a good thing and here's the reasons why.